Tokyo. This is Daisuke Beppu, and it is now November 16th, 2018. Earlier today, the Criterion Collection made its announcement with respect to the planned releases that are going to be made in February 2019. And so, if you don't mind, I'd just like to share with you my thoughts on those releases. To Sleep with Anger. Now, this is a film that is from 1990 and is directed by a filmmaker whose name is Charles Burnett. Now, Charles Burnett is a filmmaker that is, I think, an American treasure. I think his films are truly remarkable, and they really should be celebrated more. For example, there is Killer of Sheep and My Brother's Wedding, and this film, To Sleep with Anger. Now, I must admit that the film To Sleep with Anger is, while I like the film, is still the film that I like the least of Mr. Burnett's works. I personally love Killer of Sheep. I think it's a real masterpiece, one of the greatest American films. But that is not to say that I dislike To Sleep with Anger. I really like that film. So I'm very excited about the Criterion Collection's release of To Sleep with Anger, because this will give me the opportunity to watch it again and to try to reevaluate it and to really explore it and examine it in a way that I think will hopefully make me appreciate it more. So the Criterion release is going to be Spine number 963, and it will be a new 4K digital transfer, and also a new interview program featuring Burnett and the actors and the producer. There's also a supplement called A Walk with Charles Burnett, and also a short video tribute to Burnett, producer for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Governors Award Ceremony in 2017, plus an essay by critic Ashley Clark. So this one is quite an exciting release. I'm very excited for this one for the reasons that I just stated. So To Sleep with Anger, Spine number 963. Excuse me there, I'm going out of order, so you have to forgive me. So I started with 963, but let me now go back to Spine number 960, which is going to be La Vérité. So this is Henri-Georges Clouzot's film La Vérité. This is one of his later films, one of his last films that he did. This is from 1960 and stars Brigitte Bardot. Now, I have not seen this film, so I'm very excited for this release. As you know, Clouzot has many other works in this Criterion Collection already, some of which are out of print, but others are still in print. Diabolique and Wages of Fear, I think, are the ones that come to mind the most. This film, La Vérité, although I haven't seen it, I understand is one that had a lot of very interesting production stories. There was, I think some of it is actually described in the Wikipedia page on this film, so perhaps I should look at that later, and maybe I would suggest that you do as well. There are some really interesting stories about the making of this film, and there are some behind-the-scenes drama and intrigue regarding the stars. So very, very fascinating film in terms of its background, and also, of course, as a Clouzot film, one of his last films in his filmography. And also, for me personally, it's one that I haven't seen. And so I'm looking forward to this one very much. So here is a new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack for the Blu-ray. And also a documentary called Le Scandale Clouzot. This is a documentary from 2017. And then a 1960 interview with the director. And then an interview with actor Brigitte Bardot from the 1982 documentary Brigitte Bardot Tel Quel, and a new English subtitle translation, and an essay by film scholar Jeanette Vincendeau. So this is going to be very interesting for me, as I have not seen the film yet. But La Vérité, so spine number 960. Spine number 961, this is Ingmar Bergman's Shame from 1968. Now this is very, very interesting for me, very important. I was not sure what Criterion's plans were with respect to the Bergman films. As you know, this November, and in fact I think next week, the Criterion Collection will be releasing the huge Ingmar Bergman box set. And included in that box set are a number of films that have already been released by Criterion, and yet there are a number of films that have not been released by Criterion. Among those films that have not been released by Criterion yet is the film Shame. So, for a lot of people, I think the question was, should I get the box set, or should I wait until the possibility of seeing other Bergman films being released individually in the future? So that was a question for many people, I think, because it wasn't clear what Criterion would be doing for the Bergman films, how to deal with Bergman with respect to those customers who might not necessarily be purchasing the box set, if you know what I mean. Well, here I think we're getting a clue, and it seems to be that Criterion will likely release those Bergman films individually. And the box set hasn't been released yet, so I can't be absolutely sure at this point in time, at this video, which is November 16th, I can't be sure whether the box set release of Shame will be exactly the same as the individual release of Shame that's planned for February 2019. But assuming that they are, then this news about the individual release of Shame is very good news indeed for those of you who might not necessarily want to spend all this money for the box set. And it is a lot of money, so it might be also good for those of you who may not necessarily want all of these Bergman films, but just want a select few, including Shame. So this is great. This is great news. And Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann in an Ingmar Bergman film. Yeah, it's a really great film. I saw it when I was younger, and I haven't seen it since. So I haven't seen it for over 10 years. So I'm looking forward to revisiting this film. So this is a new 2K digital restoration, and there are also interviews with director Ingmar Bergman and a brief excerpt from a press conference for the film recorded in 1967 and 68 for Swedish television, and a new interview with Liv Ullmann, and then also an introduction to Ingmar Bergman, a 1968 documentary made during the film's production, featuring an extensive interview with Bergman. Spine number 962, Luchino Visconti's Death in Venice. Wow. Wow. This is amazing. This is really amazing. I have this film on DVD, and I also have the novella, the Thomas Mann novella. So this is a story that is I find very compelling, very moving. But to finally have it on Criterion, now that is a treat in and of itself, a real delight. And for those of you who are not familiar with this work, you are going to be amazed when you see it. I guarantee it. It is a later Visconti film. And so this is a true delight. True delight. 1971, and this is a new 4K digital restoration. Also included is Luchino Visconti, Life as in a Romance, a 2008 documentary about the director, and also a 1970 program on Visconti's efforts to cast the role of Tazio, and also a new program featuring literature and cinema scholar Stefano Albertini, plus interview from 2006 with costume designer Piero Tosi, and excerpt from a 1990 program about the music in Visconti's films, featuring Bogart and actor Marissa Berenson. So those are the two actors that also appear in Death in Venice. And this is also very important because music plays a critical role in the film Death in Venice, Gustav Mahler. And also, there is a television broadcast from 1971 in which Visconti discusses the film. And then Visconti's Venice, a short 1970 behind-the-scenes documentary featuring Visconti and Bogart in a trailer, plus an essay. And then we have Spine number 411. So this is an upgrade from a DVD. This is Fassbinder's Berlin Alexanderplatz. This is that huge sprawling epic from Fassbinder, and I'm glad it's coming to Blu-ray because that means that more people, I'm sure, will be interested, intrigued, and perhaps curious enough to want to buy it on Blu-ray, because it is a real fascinating film, and I think it should be purchased so that people can take their time with it, because it might be something that's a little bit hard to digest at first, but once you get into it, it can be very rewarding and very challenging and very thought-provoking. It's one of those great works by Fassbinder. You're watching it and you realize you're seeing a miracle unfold before your very eyes. So I'm very pleased to hear of this news, of this upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray. I'm looking at the special features, and everything appears to be the same as they were on the DVD. So it has this digital restoration. Next, there are 2 documentaries by the Rainer Werner Fassbinder Foundation president, Julian Lorenz, and also a 1980 documentary called Notes on the Making of Berlin Alexanderplatz. And then also the 1931 film from the novel, and also an interview from 2007 from Peter Jelovich, author of Berlin Alexanderplatz radio film and the Death of Weimar Culture. So the supplements appear to be the same as those that are currently on the DVD release. So, and also there's an interesting thing. If you look on the Criterion Collection website for Berlin Alexanderplatz, you can see the DVD price and you can see the Blu-ray price. And I apologize because I don't have the exact numbers, but the DVD price is more expensive than the Blu-ray price. Now, I don't know if that's subject to change or not, but assuming that it is not, it's very interesting to see that the Blu-ray edition is cheaper than the DVD edition. Now, again, I urge you to check the website and just be sure that there are no changes with that. But anyway, this is really fine news. And again, Fassbinder is a force to be reckoned with in terms of cinematic genius. So, the more opportunity for people to discover Fassbinder, I think the better off we all are. So I'm very happy for this news. And then To Sleep with Anger, 963, which is what I mentioned earlier. So this is a very fine month, February 2019. I think we have, again, it's great to see Charles Burnett be introduced into the collection. It's also great to see how Criterion will seem to handle the as of yet non-released or unreleased Bergman films. So Shame is the example, and hopefully that is setting the example for more Bergman films to come. And for me personally, it is going to be La Vérité, Clouzot's La Vérité, so I'm going to be very excited about that. I think that's the one I will be most excited for, just to see what the fuss was all about. So this is going to be great. So La Vérité for me. Also To Sleep with Anger. Again, I want to reevaluate that film. And also a feeling of celebratory joy because of the upgrade regarding Berlin Alexanderplatz. So this is truly a very fine month. Oh, and of course, Death of Venice. Death in Venice, excuse me. And of course, we have Death in Venice, which I think is going to be the the release of this month for many people, understandably so. Okay, my friends, so those are just my initial reactions to the February 2019 planned releases. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any views, opinions about these films? If so, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will be very happy to address them to the best of my ability. Until we meet again, my friends, take care. Cheers.